The Sweden trip for the Toronto Maple Leafs, it ends exactly the way you'd expect it to end. With a Willy Nylander gorgeous overtime winner. And the Leafs win at 4-3 against the Minnesota Wild and win both games in Sweden. You get 4 out of 4 points. That's what I said going into the stretch where you can't build any momentum. So if you can find a way to get 4 points, you do a great job. Come back home and regroup. They did that today. With the win, the Leafs are now 10-5-2 on the season. And was it a pretty game? No. But do I expect either of these games, this game today or the Detroit game, to be pretty? No. They're all playing in a foreign country when it comes to the league they play in, right? The time zone probably is still a little screwy. You know, you're not in the same ice. You're not in the same dressing room. If you've ever played, athletes are creatures of habit. And this is everything but that. So if the Leafs go out there and find a way to win both games, it's awesome. Now, let's break this puppy down. First period, John Merrill gets left wide, just all alone. And it's like a defenseman in the slot. What are we doing here? Well, it's top of the circle, really. And he just beats Joe Woll. I didn't like that. It might have got deflected by Robertson in front because the reaction from Joe Woll was a little weird, right? If you see the replay, Robertson does get his stick in the lane, and then Woll's reaction was kind of like hit it with his shoulder instead of just get it with the glove. So my thing is maybe he thought it was coming low, and then it redirected up high, and he thought he had to fight it off. Possibly, I could be wrong, but either way, you're down 1-0, and John Merrill, 2:37 in, has given the Wild the lead. Not the way you want this game to start. But then, Leafs get a power play about midway through, and Willy Nylander tries to go for the pass, right? It's a pass along the ice, but it hits Joel Eriksson's stick. And it goes right on the net to Marc-Andre Fleury, but he's got to fight this thing off because it was a redirected pass. So he kind of just kicks it right to the front of the ice, and Matthews is coming right down Broadway, and he buries it into the empty cage for his 14th of the year. That goal is at 12:43 of the first period. Nylander and Riley grab assists on the goal, and we are tied at 1. Awesome. 6 minutes after that, Giordano. I mean, I love Gio. Like, what a weird game he had. And he's been so good recently. Gio played goal for the Minnesota Wild a bit as well. John Tavares had 2 shots right off the post and 1 off the crossbar in the first period. The crossbar one, Gio is crashing the net. I mean, it is the definition of crashing the net. He's crashing into the net. But the puck hits his skate. Now, it wouldn't have been a kicking motion because Gio looked all over the place. And it's heading towards the empty cage, but Gio bracing himself, and the puck hits his skate and stays out. So that would have been a goal. It obviously doesn't count. It doesn't go across the line, all that stuff. And I think that was when you were down 1-0, so it was pretty painful. But on this play, he's skating up the neutral zone with the puck flying down. Like, absolutely flying. And he drops it off for Mitch Marner, who finds a cross-seam pass to Matthew Knies. And the one-timer from Knies beats Fleury 5-hole. And the Leafs have the lead. Now it's 2-1. Great job from Gio. I thought he played phenomenal yet again. Knies from Marner and Gio at 18:23 of the first period. And after the Leafs started that first period losing in shots 10-2, they win in shots 14-11. Pretty much after that John Merrill goal, maybe a little bit afterwards, the Leafs dominated. Like, flat out dominated that first period. And great, hey, you got that lead. Awesome stuff. Then in the second period, the Wild have 3 power plays. The Leafs had 2 in the first period. The Wild have all 3 power plays in the second period. The Leafs kill all of them off, but the momentum has shifted. They are putting on a ton of pressure. Shots 11-5 in the second period, but Joe Woll stands tall. They do not score in the second period. You're feeling great about yourself. Third period rolls around, and the puck comes in front, I think it was off of Austin Matthews' stick, to Morgan Riley, who's about the circle, right? Something like that. And Fleury, with a screen of Matthew Knies in front, can't really see the puck, and Riley fires it kind of short side on him, and it beats him. Have a great game, Morgan Riley. continuing to add to a really quiet and nice year he's putting together. Riley's third of the year. Matthews and Marner grab assists in the goal at 4:22, and the Leafs are now up 3-1. They're feeling pretty good. Joe Wall's played some really good stuff. Late in that second period, stoning Matt Zuccarello with like the butt end of his stick. Outstanding save there. But then things start to get a little hairy, right? Less than 2 minutes after the Riley goal. Where have we seen this before? Jacob Middleton fires one on, but it's such a tricky one for Joe Wall. Like, it looks very similar to the John Merrill goal, but this time, I don't know. I think it was Joel Eriksson Ek and Morgan Riley skate right in front of Joe Wall, right as the puck is coming to him. So he can't make the play, and it goes in the top corner. Jacob Middleton's got his third of the year, 2 goals from defensemen, and it's a 3-2 game. That goes at 6:10 of the third period, and 2:22? Couple minutes after that, a pass in front, Zuccarello's crashing the net. It goes off his skate and in. You can't blame Joe Wall for really either of those goals. But just like that, we're tied. You thought you had the game. You were up 3-1. Joe Wall was playing great. You already killed 3 power plays off your penalties. You're doing really, really well. And then bang, bang, we're tied at 3. Like, we can't keep doing this. We end up going to overtime, and we've seen this team playing overtime way too much this year. By the way, shots on goal in the third period were 13-4 in favor of Minnesota, so they definitely outplayed the Leafs. But anyways, in overtime, Joe Wall, all alone with Joel Eriksson Ek. He gets left in front, they pass it in front, and man, the patience of Joe Wall to not just fly around is incredible. He stays big, he's out of his crease, and he makes an incredible save. Later on, they come down on a 2-on-1, and Morgan Riley with an incredible block. Like, he gambled hard, but he was the right gamble because they were so in tight. So he basically slid right at the guy, and he blocks the shot. It goes into the corner. Riley picks it up, and Nylander, streaking, gets the pass from Mo. And if you're Nylander, you get the puck, you look up, and you see Marcus Johansson on you, a forward, a veteran forward. You are licking your chops. So if you watch Willy, he started on the outside of Johansson, who's not skating backwards yet. He's still facing the other way, so he's not in good shape. Nylander then cuts to the inside, and then right as Johansson starts to turn to go to skate backwards, Nylander cuts back to the outside, gets position on him, uses his strong body to the net, and he beats Marc-Andre Fleury. A gorgeous move. Picked the right guy to attack, saw it, licked his chops, and scored the game winner. Willy Nylander, just pay the man. At this point, I don't care what it is. Pay the dude. 12th goal of the year for Willy. Riley with the assist, and the game winner at 3:09 in overtime. Shots on goal were 2-1 in overtime. And for the game was 36-25 in favor of Minnesota. A very odd game, but like I said, it's in Sweden. I can't dwell on it too much. Special teams wise, we were 1 for 2 in the power play. They were 0 for 3. The Leafs have killed off all 7 penalties against in Sweden. 4 against Detroit, 3 today. Great stuff there. All right. And you also saw some grease from Mitch Marner. And I know it led to a penalty with him hacking at Joel Eriksson Ek, right? He gets hauled down in front of his own net. And then as he's trying to get up and skate away, you see Eriksson Ek kind of hanging on to him. So Mitch is like, screw this. And hacks the back of his legs. Eriksson Ek goes down. Marner gets a penalty. But I'm like, you know what? Good. Have the fight. Have the grit. Have the snot. And if it leads to a penalty, fine. Show it. And I love it. I do. And they also had some scrubs. Langesson's in the middle of it. Just some great stuff tonight. This morning, actually. But let's get to these team stats, or I guess player stats. Where are the team stats, right? The power plays and all that. Yeah. Player stats. Joe Wall, 3 goals on 36 shots, 917 save percentage for the game. I thought he was good. I didn't like the first goal. I don't like any 2 goals in succession like you saw in that third period, but you can't blame him for either one. I thought he was great. Made some big-time stops in big-time moments. A huge save in overtime. And he got the win, and he 3 goals and 36 shots. He'll take it any day of the week. And Leaf fans, don't look now. But the Leafs, after we talked about how they could not allow less than 4 goals at home and all that stuff, they allowed 2 goals against Vancouver, 2 goals against Detroit, and only 3 today. Definitely positives moving forward. Obviously, you can't gain any momentum heading back to North America, but it is what it is, man. Take it. Take it and move. Morgan Rielly had a 3.9, a goal and 2 assists, which had 5 shots on goal, but was a -1. It's quite odd there. Matthews, a goal and an assist, a +1. Nylander, of course, with a goal and an assist. Nice with a goal and a +1. Marner, 2 apples and a +1. And shout out Marner, 400 career assists for him. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, Mitch Marner will lead the Leafs, assuming he's still here. Mitch Marner will lead the Leafs franchise history in assists, and Matthews will lead in franchise history in goals. It's just the way it's going to go, assuming they all stay here. Well, Matthews is locked in, but assuming Marner's here after next year, yeah, it's going to be locked down. Gio also had an assist and a +1. I just thought he was great yet again. Played just under 20 minutes, still like that. And also shout out Jake McCabe. We talked about it early going in the year. He didn't look great to start the season. But since he's come back from his injury, like not seeing Klingberg out there and seeing McCabe out there, and yeah, Lagesson and Benoit, not great, but they're hanging in there. Jake McCabe is a beautiful sight. Early in the game, you saw him clear a guy out in front of the net and just like going right through him. Like, no. Give my guys a lane. Woll makes a nice glove save, and that's all there is to it. Just sound stuff like that. He doesn't have a point this year, does Jake McCabe. I don't care. I could give a damn. Right? He had 4 shots on net. He was a +1 in the game. Solid. Move on. Great job from Jake McCabe and the Toronto Maple Leafs, picking up both wins. Now, the next game for the Leafs isn't until Friday. Yeah, we got to just hang in here, everyone. The next game for the Leafs is a back-to-back. So you play Chicago in Chicago at 2 o'clock on Friday. So again, another 2 o'clock Friday game. It's because of Thanksgiving in the States, so that's why it's a 2 o'clock contest there. A lot of afternoon games in the NHL that day. And as for the Leafs in the second half of the back-to-back, they go to Pittsburgh to take on Kyle Dubas and the Pittsburgh Penguins, who've been, they won like 5 straight at one point, but they've now lost 2 in a row. So it is what it is. But for the Toronto Maple Leafs, look, they did their job in Sweden. Enjoy the flight back, rest up a bit, and then Chicago on Friday. It's going to take some time for the fella. Like this next week, don't expect great hockey. Like that's kind of where I'm at with this, is you got the long layoff before, 2 weird games in Sweden, a long layoff coming back. It's going to take time. So I'm not going crazy if they lose to Chicago or they lose to Pittsburgh, or even if they lose both. I mean, I prefer that they don't, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so you know what? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and the dub today, hit the like button. I do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like from today's game? For the Toronto Maple Leafs, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, TikTok, all that great stuff is down below. So follow up there if you're not done so already. And I'll talk to you guys Raptors edition a little bit later on, as the Raptors are about to tip off against the Detroit Pistons at Scotiabank Arena, 4 p.m. tip-off here, of course. And as for the Toronto Maple Leafs, like we talked about, they're back in action on Friday afternoon in Chicago. So they're still not coming back home yet, but they're in Chicago taking on the Blackhawks. 2 p.m. puck drop at the United, I assume it's still called the United Center, right? Yep. In Chicago, looks like Peter Mrazek's going to be in net, and I'm going to guess Samsonov's probably going to get the start. We'll see how it plays out, though. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the dub today. Talk to you guys then.